Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Coach Brene, and today we're going over our 8 to 12-year-old lesson plan at home, number 2. So today we're going to warm up with some push-ups. So of course we want to get our bodies ready to exercise, and we want to get them ready to get moving around to do martial arts. So push-ups are a great way to get our bodies and our shoulders and arms ready to do punches. So depending on how good you are with your push-ups, we want to keep our hands straight down from where our shoulders are, back straight. We want to do a push-up all the way down, all the way back up. We want to do about 10 to 25 of these, making sure our arms are nice and warmed up to punch. Next up, our next warm-up for today, we're going to be doing some intermediate squats. Our 8 to 12-year-olds, they're pretty good at doing them, so I want you to be able to do your very best squats today. So when we get into a squat position, we want to have our feet about shoulder length apart. Hands up or out if you'd like, but we're going to squat down. We want to bring our butts down. Everything's level here, and up, down, and up. We're using the balls of our feet to push up and out. So we squat, you even add a little thrust in, but depending on your level of fitness, some of our higher belts, add in some jumps in there. Add in, some push-ups in between if you like, but make this as much of a workout and a warm-up as you need to. So next up, we're going to do a dish pulling knees. So we're going to get into that push-up position, and we're going to bring our knees up to our chest and back out. So just like this. Bringing our knees up to our chest without our shoulders, our arms touching the floor. We don't want anything but our hands and the bottoms of our feet to touch the floor. Do this 10 to 25 times, 30 seconds to 1 minute, till you feel sufficiently warmed up. Moving forward, we're going to do bridges with kicks. So we're going to do our arm bridge. We're going to come up, throw a kick. Ooh. So up, kick, turn, onto that side, kick, turn, onto our elbow, kick. Do this about 10, 25 times each leg, getting our legs and our core all warmed up, ready to move. So pause the video if you need to now to do our warm-ups. Now today, our primary focus is working on our technique. If we do our techniques wrong, that's not going to be the same punch. It might be a totally different technique if we do things wrong. So as martial artists, we want to do things correctly, right the first time. So when we throw kicks, or if we throw punches or anything, our hands, our feet, our bodies are in certain places to have good technique. So for instance, if I throw a rear kick, my rear hand goes back and my lead hand actually comes up across my face. I actually keep my lead hand up while I kick. So even if I throw a lead kick, I'm always keeping one hand up when I kick. So when we test, or when I'm judging you on testing day, evaluating you, I'm looking for hand placement. Are our hands in the correct place when we do our technique? So I want you to be mindful of that. So when you do your kicks, your techniques today, think about, are my hands in the right place? Now, another thing, and a big common mistake among martial artists, when we kick, boom. A lot of times people don't retract their kick. There's actually 3 steps to a kick. So let's say I want to throw a rear leg side kick. And I do this a lot with my students. I take my rear leg, I chamber it. So I chamber, I can then turn my hip over, I can kick, I can extend, I can retract, and then back down. So 3 steps: chamber, extend, retract, and down. And if you have a hard time with kicks, use a spot on the wall, practice doing our chambers. We can practice doing our kicks. We can do the whole thing, and if we have a hard time balancing, we can use a wall or a sturdy spot to stand up against. But understanding, when we throw a technique, we want to chamber before and after the kick and have control. So the biggest part too, not only is throwing the right foot, but hitting with the correct part of your foot. So say I'm going to throw a rear roundhouse kick. I want to use the blade of my foot. I want to use not my toes or the top of my foot. I want to use this part of my foot right here. I'm pulling my toes down, and it makes a solid part right about where my shoelaces are to kick with. So pulling back my toes, keeping my hands up, chambering, all these little things we want to use when we do our technique with a kick. And I actually have a really awesome skill building drill that we can use to practice our kicks. So if we have a spot on the wall, like I had mentioned, we can post up and do these kicks, we can chamber, we can extend, we can do all these different things, but we can also use a chair or something else that we could use, and we can throw as many kicks as we can while holding that object. And let's say we start out with one kick, we have good technique. We try another kick, we have good techniques. How many kicks, how many reps can you do with good technique with those kicks? So post up on a chair, see how many kicks you can do. Maybe even if you have a pair of dice, roll the dice out. 2 dice, 1 dice, it doesn't matter. Roll the dice, see how many kicks you can do by the roll of a dice. So use the dice to give you how many reps to do. But you could do this with a friend, you could do this with mom or dad, you could do this with brother or sister. This is a fun drill, challenge each other. You do it, someone else does it. But kick it out, let's have some fun with it. But moving forward, I'm going to go over our combinations today. And the combinations are going to be on our test. And of course, I want you to think about your technique. And when we punch, when we go to our striking stance, think about your feet, think about your hands, think about your body placement. So we have our lead leg, we have our rear legs, our hands are up by our cheeks, and whenever we punch, we want to bring our hands back. Now the combination today is jab, slip jab, cross, hook, cross, lead kick. So, understanding we throw our jab. We're going to slip a jab, cross, hook, cross, lead kick. So, from here, pad holders need to understand something because we have strikers and we have pad holders. The strikers are going to initiate. I'm going to throw a jab. That means the pad holder is going to throw a punch from their lead side, which is their jab, back at us. And understanding, when someone throws a jab at us, they're aiming with 2 knuckles. I want you to understand you're dodging 2 knuckles here. We're not dodging an elephant or a car or a safe's not coming at us. This isn't Looney Tunes. So we're not ducking down or doing anything crazy. We're in our striking stance. I turn, rotate my hip, and we're going to dodge that jab. So from here, we jab. We slip that jab, we dodge it. I load it up on my rear side to throw my cross, hook, cross, lead kick, extending, retracting, going through all of my steps when I do so. And maybe you don't have a partner at home to work with, punch in the mirror, aim for your nose, but understand this, we want straight, good punches and rotation from our hips. Now pause now if you need to work on this combination. Next up, we're going to be going over our rear kick, hook, cross, hook. So from our striking stance, this is a great combination to get a great workout with and understand control of our body. So I'm starting this combination off with a rear kick. So when I throw my rear side rear kick, I'm taking a step with my lead leg. This is a kick of rotation. So hands up, I step with my lead leg, about a 45-degree step, opening up my hips to rotate. So now from here, I can throw my rear kick. I'm going to bring my kick back. I'm going to retract it, put it back in its rear position to a hook, cross, hook. So in full, kia, hook, cross, hook. Once again, rear kick, hook, cross, hook. So try that out. Do that 10, 20 times on a bag, a pillow, maybe even some couch cushions, but get that energy out, practice your technique, and we'll move forward here in just a moment. Now, today I want to talk about something called preemptive striking. Now, if you think preemptive striking, you're probably thinking, oh man, that means I'm throwing the first punch. No. As martial artists, we have an obligation. We are in charge of our actions. We are the ones who take the high road. So if someone is putting us in that situation, where you know there's that bully at school. We're not allowed to just beat up the bullies, but there's a time and a place when somebody takes that step forward. You warned this person. You told them to stop. You followed all the correct steps. You've already told the teacher. You already told your parents. Now we're on the playground, and this kid is trying to come up to us, and they're trying to hurt us. And we know we have to get out of this. So we visualize what's happening. It's like Spider-Man. When someone throws a punch at Spider-Man, those little feelers come out. He's got his spider senses. So I want you to have your martial arts senses. Think preemptively. Okay, he's coming at me. I can use a push kick to get him back. I can put my hands up. I can, heaven forbid, think of combinations. I can think of ways, find where exits are. Look where I can escape to. But the idea is it's not totally offensive. I want you to think ahead, 2-3 steps ahead of that other person. Because odds are the other kid isn't thinking. I want you to be the one who's thinking preemptively. How can I get out of this situation? How can I help myself the best? And how can I get out of this without hurting that other person or myself? Because the biggest thing is, guys, and I want you to take home this out of anything, it's being in control. Your brain tells your body what to do. I'll probably say it 100 more times before you're done talking to me. You have to be in control. You have to show us that at home, at school, not just here when we're practicing our moves. So guys, use this in your life. Be in charge of your life. Be preemptive when it comes to cleaning your bedroom. Use this preemptive thing to help out maybe mom when she's doing the dishes, or when you help out with dinner. But the thing is, you can get things done beforehand, and that shows responsibility. That shows you're in control of your life. So guys, use this time to be preemptive, to think ahead, but to be in control of your life. So guys, before we part today, I want to do one more thing with you. I want to do some cool down stretches. So what we're going to do is we're going to get down. We're going to do some lower back stretches. So we're going to sit and we're going to try to touch our toes. So stretching out our legs and our back a little bit. We're going to try bring our hands up and touch all the way out. Some of us might be better than others in touching your toes. If you have a hard time, just try to push out and try to touch your toes. But the idea is we want to stretch our legs, stretch our bodies. Very good. Next up, we're going to work on cooling down our arms. So we're going to do some forward arm circles. So putting our arms straight out if we like. We can start small, working them bigger and bigger and bigger, going backwards, going forwards. But the idea is we want to stretch our arms out, cool it down, get everything ready to be cooled down so we're not sore for tomorrow. The next cool down is going to be forward lunges. And depending on your level of fitness, just slowly start working into lunges, alternating legs each time. But we're taking big, giant steps. We don't want our rear knee to touch the mat. So it's almost like I'm taking a knee. I bring my rear leg as close as I can to the ground and stepping. Now, like I said, if you're top-notch martial artist, you're a black belt and you want to get a good workout, you can forward lunge and jump and try not to touch those knees to the floor. And next up, we're going to be working on our ankle rotations. So this is one of my favorite stretches. I used to do this all the time in track. So we start in a sitting position. We bring one knee up. Our other leg comes across. From here, we can rotate our ankles both ways if we want. We can even take our hands and stretch like that. We can turn our knees and legs however we need to. Alternating, switching. You can also pull back your lead leg here, the one that's up, the knee up. You could feel it in your glutes as well. So stretching our legs, stretching our feet, stretching our ankles. And from there, I want you guys to be mindful of your actions. I want you to think before you act. And this is a very, very, very good thing that you can use your entire life and not during just this time. I want you to use these skills all the time, all year round. So guys, if I don't hear from you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Thank you.